What is going on YouTube? I was just having a whole bunch of thoughts related to creating videos again, and one of the first videos I was thinking of making just as a joke would be like 100 likes and I go get another eye tattoo, etc. And then I come with like fake eye tattoos as if I really got them, and you know, it's like, oh, the first one didn't work to get me enlightened, maybe a couple more, and then yeah, just to re-kickstart my TikTok as the way it started and starting again, etc. And then I was thinking about talking about, well, what I would talk about is kind of where I've been at first, obviously, before we get to whatever's next and whatever the stuff I was on before, to continue to be on about that, which is psychological and whatever stuff about my experience. I know. I know. And one of the first things was about like how life gets realer and faker, and then I was thinking of how there's like a whole bunch of what it seems like paradoxes within me, like more loving, more hateful, and etc., and how that's kind of like has me split and I'm not really whole and unified, and which can cause some problems, like being in the car, holding down on the gas and the brake at the same time. But yeah, this was all spurred by thinking about a lady friend that I met playing basketball, and thinking about how my life is right now and how it's like not very adultish and retarded development, due to whatever due to the situation that happened and the decisions I made and the risks I took, chasing something that just turned out to not bear fruit, rather than continuing the one and only thing that what's the word, that seemed to have some hope of success, which is my making videos or whatever. And I was thinking of love as motivation to make this. I don't really know if I am going to go back to my TikTok just yet. Part of me does feel like there's something I need to complete before I can even go out in the world, if that even ends up happening, you know, jet stuff in mind. I pray that does. It's what I want. Right now I'm going to, or I don't even know, with the YouTube stuff it's a lot more cozier. There's nobody following me, so I can just be myself and talk about the things that I want to talk about. Oh, another issue that I was thinking about too was, you know, some of the things that I talk about are a bit vulnerable and kind of weak, and then my anger comes in. It's like I get pissed off, then I'm not doing that bullshit at all. So there's a certain way I can only be now, which is different than before. And part of the things that was built on was, you know, the honest expression of the enlightenment journey, assuming that's what's happening to me. Yeah. Something else I was about to say. Shit, completely slipped my mind. I was gonna think about, I was thinking also about documenting, like, or talking about like the insanity and the fear of schizophrenia, and like walking on that border and experiencing the totality of that terror while going through this would be a pretty interesting TikTok. And talk about how that's like a huge part of it, and probably the thing that I will keep coming back to, you know, and kind of that has been the theme of these past few years, like the continuous brushing up against terror, and with some of my spookier dreams and creepier dreams and the whole range of that. It's pretty interesting stuff, but I literally don't really have too much confidence in my ability to communicate and come up with interesting content and expand on those ideas. So I guess this is a practice run for that. Something that has been interesting is recently too is like how getting angry is kind of healing and kind of gets me back to how I used to feel. And this example would be like when I'm doing my plyometrics and my knees kind of hurt, and then getting pissed off, it kind of like breaks open all the little tendon tightness and muscular tightness, and I'm able to do them with more energy and how I like felt like I used to be before the year of destruction. I should think of a good name. the year of deterioration, as I call it, or the months of deterioration. So what happened, and it's like getting back to that anger and stuff, or even while shooting the basketball, makes me shoot more normally and more consistently. Yeah. I don't know how I got to talking about anger, but I feel like that's, yeah. These videos are going to be low quality. I'm going to be rambling on about shit. I'm going to lose my train of thought. I think I just have to accept that, and hopefully one day. I was thinking of applying that anger in the same way of like just while making these videos to like communicate. Yeah. I think I kind of feel dumb sometimes. Like very dumb. I think that's also something that's new here, or I'm more aware of. And so when I try to articulate stuff that I've been reading, it feels a little bit harder. I like feel like there's this peak of where all the wires and neurons and shit, all the electricity just firing like pew, 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 and the interconnections and spinning the webs of words and whatever that I used to be able, or I feel like maybe I'm tripping or something. I deleted all my TikToks, so I don't really remember what the fuck, how I used to be. But yeah. So this is video number 3, I think. 3 days in a row we've made a video, which is pretty nice. Hopefully, I don't know if I would want my YouTube channel to gain traction right now, because I still don't even really know what the fuck I'm on about. Like I feel like I do have a lot of interesting shit to talk about, but I just feel like I cannot really expand on it the way I used to. Like I'll have one thought and then well, that's it, or it'd just be like bloop, 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 bloop. But anyways, thanks for myself for tuning in. Probably gonna hoop later today. I went to an 8 p.m. run the other day, first time in a while, and the runs were intense, very high level runs, and I just got into a fear state and was not very confident at all, even though I could definitely play at a much higher, even though I could definitely be a nuisance in these games, definitely, but the fear kind of just made me a lot more nervous and relying on my team, which is shit I normally do. When I'm feeling more confidence, like I'm the reason we win, or I'm a big part of why we win. And I don't like that feeling of like being the shitter on the team, or like or the bot. But yeah, which is why I was kind of more intense at basketball today. It's kind of, I just need to more consistently remember to bring that same kind of intense energy and angriness, so I can at least be myself, rather than just passing it off to my team and stuff. Alright. Is there anything else to discuss? Reading The Selfish Gene by Richard Dawkins, I think I might let that go. He's been talking about some bullshit that hasn't been really interesting, related to family and kin, and it's like, if you'd give yourself up for like your brothers and family and that stuff related. And I don't know, it just hasn't been the kind of evolutionary biology or evolutionary psychology that I'm really interested in. I think the first 2 chapters were alright, where he was just kind of introing the idea that the gene is the unit of selection, not the body or not the group, or the species. Yeah, though actually learning more about group selection did kind of interest me a lot. He didn't really talk about it too in depth, but I feel like, because he was saying that's not entirely true or even completely wrong, and to me it does kind of seem like it could make sense in which organisms develop, or at least part of their development is related to their group dynamics. Game theory was brought up in an earlier chapter to discuss evolutionary stable strategies, which is, he gave this example of like, imagine there's a species called X, and they can be either hawkish, which is like they'll attack the other one and like kill them and fight, or they can be dovish, well, where they'll just posture and pretend to be strong, but then if like the other guy fights back, he won't do anything. And then kind of how like the optimal strategy isn't to be purely a hawk or purely a dove, or like it pays more in an all dove society, it would pay more to be hawkish, and then if too many hawks come, then it pays more to be dovish, because you'll end up with more evolutionary points. He gave it like, because like you kill the other one, you get 100 points. If you die, you obviously, or like if you lose a fight, you lose X points, and then your total points is like how successful you are in that strategy. And so a hawk would be very successful in a dove, and in the land of doves. And this ultimately ends up in a nice balance of 7. I think he's like 7 hawks for every 5 doves is that evolutionary stable strategy. Evolutionary stable, the ESS, since I can't speak right now. Yeah, we'll end off on that note. Peace.